Hey everyone, what's up? This is kind of going to be totally new and weird because we're going to have a two-person interview here. Me talking to my pal Shawna Suckow, who is the co-author of Frankly Speaking, with three other amazing folks, with Marilyn Adams and Bonnie Sapkowski and Tracy Smith, and Shawna there, fourth author here. Wonderful peeps that I got to spend some of last week with at SpinCon. And I'm going to share some website tips. So Shawna, what's going on? I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. I am up here in Minnesota where it's snowing, so I wore my symbolic little snowflake necklace just so you in Florida could feel my joy.
Is that the word? The joy?
Yeah, I'm so joyful about it. I'm so thankful.
I'm so thankful that I'm not there. So
yeah,
I'd love to see you. I think, Florida's way more my speed now. So 3 years.
Yeah. It was enjoyable being there last week.
Yeah. Sure. That's so funny. That's cool.
I'm looking at your office back there.
Yeah.
And you need like some picture of a pinball wizard or Tommy or something since you're the pinball wizard.
There you go. I totally agree. I'm going to work on that. That'll be a 2019 goal, is to get some good stuff behind me. Because right now, sadly, because sadly, like it's all books. I'm a little behind, as you can see by the growing pile.
Is that your pile of to do of like?
Well, it's stuff that I've bought probably in the last 3 months or received in the mail. And it's tough because I try to keep up. I'm going to tell you, I really do. But often I can't. The good news is I did read your book, and I got to tell you, first,
we are honored. The ladies and I are honored.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure. I mean, first, I got to ask you, how do you herd four cats to write a book?
Oh, it's not easy. But, we made it a priority, and the way we did it was really cool. We got together on Zoom just like this, all four of us, probably about 5 different times, and we had lengthy conversations, and we just transcribed those actual conversations. So it's the real deal. It's like you're sitting in a living room just listening to us talk about you.
I totally agree. I mean, that's what I get from it too. I mean, what I said, right? I said it's packed full of helpful nuggets of information professional speakers can use to navigate their work with meeting planners. It's irreverent, it's funny, and it's 100% useful. And the thing that I love most about this is it's clear that you're not just trying to sell books, you're actually trying to help, which
it's, for the amount that we make on each book, and then we split it 4 ways, we're not doing it for the money.
Yes and no. Yes and not.
Yeah, we just have all this stuff in our heads, and we like it when people pay attention to it. So
well, yes, and it's really important stuff.
Well, yeah, we're happy to share it, because otherwise, doesn't do it any good just swirling around in our heads.
No. So that's super helpful. So yeah, for anyone listening, I mean, get a darn copy of this book. If you're a speaker or you want to get paid to speak, some of the stuff in here about differentiation, setting your fees, I mean, some of this stuff, it's worth its weight in gold. So I would have paid $50 for this.
Yeah, I will send you an invoice for the difference, Phil.
Oh, jeez. Well, I do have 2 copies, so I probably actually owe you like $87 because you were sweet enough to actually send me one. This is awesome, folks. I got one signed by all 4 of the awesome authors, which I am honored by, because that doesn't often happen in a multi-author book. I've got a lot of half, but not whole. So this is like a World Series ring to me. This is really cool.
Oh, and we're from 4 corners of the country, so that was not an easy accomplishment.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so I mean, genuinely, I'm honored.
We appreciated your testimonial on the back. That was awesome.
Yeah,
and your support. And this.
Yeah, well, so this is cool. So you're not a meeting planner anymore. You've morphed into speaking full time, which I think is really that's an interesting pivot. So how do you go from being a unicorn meeting planner to being a professional speaker?
It was interesting. When I founded SPIN, which is the Senior Planners Industry Network, that's an association with 2,700 planners with 10 years of experience or more, for those who aren't aware. It thrust me into speaking unwillingly, like kicking and screaming and dragging my nails in the carpet. It was horrible. I hated it, Never wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be behind the stage and planning the stage. But the more I was forced to do it as we launched branches and so forth, I realized it's not about me, it's about them. And it became enjoyable. And then, the phone rang and somebody said, "What's your fee?" And then I was sold. I can get paid to do this. So it's been about 7 years, and a lot of people still think I'm a planner, but I'm not. Glory to all of the members of Spin who do that and do it well. But no, I love my next chapter of speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now, your whole thing is because you were so often on the buying side, now you're inside the buyer's mind, which I think is really good. I need to introduce you to my buddy, Jeff Shore, because Jeff is inside the buyer's mind. That's actually his podcast.
Yeah.
So,
I know his name. So.
Yeah. So I'll connect you with Jeff. Just remind me to do that. Because he's got a great podcast, but yours is all about being, the buyer insider. So even more inside baseball here, because you did buy
20 years,
things for a long time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, like, what's one big maybe misconception that people have about buyers?
Oh, that traditional selling to them still works. Like, less people answer the phone, so I'm just going to make more calls. A lot of people aren't opening my emails. I'll just send more. So more is not more today. I think less is more. Quality connections, real relationships. That's what's going to lead to sales and keep you relevant through the next recession and beyond. Because my prediction is 80% of traditional salespeople are going to be extinct in 10 years because it's not going to work anymore. They already know it. They're feeling it. So
wow, 80% extinct. That's fascinating. I mean,
including speakers that don't know how to prospect in this new normal. It's being masked right now by this great economy. But when the economy kind of settles or takes a dip, all this will be revealed, and the struggle is real. Hashtag again.
Yeah. Well, I that's absolutely true. It's so interesting because if we don't have real value to give people, they're not really going to spend time with us, because time and attention are these indispensable, irreplaceable things that we just, we get what we got and that's it. So, so how do we do that? I mean, I teach the digital side of selling, the digital side of the relationship. And so are you seeing, I mean, does it make it better? Does digital make it worse? For people who don't get it, I mean, what do you think?
Hands down better if you do it well. I saw something that you said, I don't know whether it was on your website or somewhere, where you said, if you become transactional, it's a race to the bottom in price. And transactional is when there's no relationship. Yep. And when you're just blasting out emails and hoping something sticks, and so it is entirely relationship oriented now. And social media is one of those tools that, if done well, can lead to relationships. And if done poorly, it can be a hot mess. You can be ignored, or worse, made fun of, in closed circles, which that I see that a lot. Like, look at this horrible attempt at, it's bad. But your philosophy is fabulous about making real connections instead of making a volume of just, pitches out there. Blah. Nobody likes that. We ignore that. You ignore that as a consumer. Everybody watching ignores that as a consumer. So why do it as a salesperson?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, being louder is not being better.
Yes.
It's about being valuable, right? I call it adding value before you add volume, right? We always have to add the value, pour that in, build up a relational bank account, so that, because eventually
that's great.
Yeah, eventually we do have to make a withdrawal. And, and by that, I mean, it's often an uncomfortable ask. And professional salespeople, anybody who says they like to ask for the sale when they're not exactly sure, probably have been married 15 times. Because I got to tell you, that fear of rejection is real. Every single time, it is real. It's not that I don't have confidence in what I do, because I know my stuff works. It's that the price might not be right. It might not be the right time. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff
Oh, sure.
that goes into that. So how do we kind of flip our mind as a sales professional to because right now we are seeing that marketing automation still is getting some results. We're seeing that, sometimes stupid people still click on banner ads and still buy Viagra the old fashioned way instead of getting it from their doctor, right?
Hey, if it's like from Ulta, the beauty store, I'll click on a banner ad every day because I have trust with them. I already have a relationship with them. But anybody else, it's like, trying to hit a target from 500 yards away with a dart. It's such a waste of time to try to do this volume thing. So yeah, it's really changed today. And like I said, more is not more. And the relationship is so important. If with social media, if content, everybody says content is king, and content's important, but I think, this is good. The relationship is the queen. Yeah, they go together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say, right, real connection is the currency that is going to power our business.
Of the kingdom. Okay. Right. I like this metaphor.
There we go. We can go with that one. So
otherwise nobody, people may pay attention to your content, but if they know, like, and trust you, they're going to look for it. They're going to respond to it. They're going to talk to you about it. It's going to lead to greater things than just, a transaction, which you're right. If it is a race to the bottom in price if you're purely transactional. But if I have a relationship with you, and I would pay more for whatever it is you're selling because I trust you, I like you, I know you're going to deliver, as opposed to a stranger who just, blasts out his stuff about whatever, speaking or, whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I think the fourth piece of the know, like, trust is the one that we're getting to. And it's the care.
Yes.
Because it's right. Because it's great to know. I mean, now knowing that, it's important. We have got to get out there. Like, yeah, okay. That's good too. And yes, trust, of course, right? Nobody says, I did business with them, but I really don't trust them. I mean, I'm not going to introduce my sister to a lot of the guys that I know because, right, if I had a sister, because they're scuzzy. That's just the truth, but care and genuine care leads to repeat business, and genuine care leads to compassion and leads to bigger investment from people.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And they don't, what's the saying? They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Yep. So yeah. And that means being your real self, leading with authenticity, leading with vulnerability, and hopefully they will reciprocate, and you can show that you care, that it's not just business. And I love that today there's this beautiful blurring of the lines between business and personal. And I think that's a fabulous thing. I think it's a great era to be in sales if you're one of those who is authentic and really cares about the relationships that you're building and not just checking a box and trying to hit a quota. Yeah. So it's a great time for people to do business and create friendships. Why not? It's fantastic. I'd rather work with people I like and who I care about and who care about me. Why not?
Yeah. Well, as we can move more towards kind of the care era, if you will, I think we're going to see a lot more shake out, but we're also going to see that traditional selling is going to go away because the volume game of the be persistent, if you never add any value, frankly, it's easier than ever before. I want your phone number so I can put you on my phone and ignore you. Right. That's just the truth. It's not hard anymore to find people's information. I was coaching someone the other day, and I had 9 different ways that I could find an email address that she'd never heard of before. And I don't even, I didn't even hardly try to come up with these 9 ways for a small business, to find email. And
it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. And yet we still think that, yay, I got their phone number. Who cares? Who cares?
It's just like on LinkedIn. I can't tell you how many connection requests I get on LinkedIn and I accept, and then I never hear from them. I call that, I'm picking up the virtual phone. I'm actually saying hello by clicking accept, and you leave me hanging. You're not doing anything with it. You're just collecting me, collecting connections. Why? I'm open then to you saying something back. And, why would you just leave that hanging? You're collecting connections. You're collecting emails. You're collecting phone numbers.
Yeah.
So you can blast stuff out to me later? Gross.
Yeah. Well, I would say though, I'd rather they forget about me than they put me in some marketing automation system where I get 4 messages that I get all the time. They want to sell me LinkedIn lead generation.
Yeah. All right. What I dislike is I accept the connection and I immediately get a sales pitch.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's worse.
That's like, going from meeting someone in a bar to like, let's go back to my house. And you haven't even asked them their name or had any, it's horrible. No, don't do that. You haven't shown me that you care, that, it's just icky.
One night LinkedIn stands. We can talk more about those.
I smell a new book.
There we go. Right. So yucky. So but I've seen that, and I think that's absolutely the wrong way to do business. And yet, yesterday, breaking news, folks. Yesterday, LinkedIn removed the ability to get other people's email address from your connection dump. So they just pulled that yesterday, which means you have to move them faster in a valuable way to another method. I mean, you can still talk to them on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn used to be the only where you could get everybody's email address. And now it's a one-on-one game, moving back to what you said, Shawna, about the relationship and how important that is. But okay, so we have to move them out, which means we got to probably take them to our website, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's where I would want to send people. I mean, it'd be great if I could. I'd love to get on the phone with them. In fact, I was talking.
That's not likely early on.
Not likely, right? And people are like, "Why'd you call me? What are you doing?" And though I can tell you,
they're not going to answer anyway.
Right. Unless you get their work number, right? They're not going to answer their cell phone. They might answer work, especially if you're selling to salespeople. They might answer it.
Maybe, yes.
Hoping it's a client. Maybe.
Yeah, they're hoping, and then they're very disappointed.
Right.
And they're annoyed. It's interruption marketing. They're annoyed.
Yeah,
immediately.
There's no
Do you
permission.
want to start off that way?
I don't.
Yeah, it's a lot to overcome.
Yeah.
In a couple minute phone call.
Yeah.
And they want to get you off the phone as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I got a buyer here.
Yeah.
Buyer here.
Oh man, it's another salesperson.
Right.
Yeah, even salespeople hate other salespeople doing that.
Yeah. Because they haven't established any value. They haven't established any reason. And, now, so actually sometimes what I do, Shawna, is if I see a phone number come across I don't recognize, I'll quickly put it into Google and see what I get back.
Yeah.
Because I want to see who's calling me? Who really is this? Are they anybody of value? Especially when they psych me out with a 414 number because I live in Tampa.
That happens all the time now, doesn't it?
I get local and I'm like, okay, where are you? Well, I'm in pick a city that's not Milwaukee. Really?
Bangkok.
Yeah. Why do you get a 414 number? That just, and I know, let me be clear. I know I don't need you to leave me a comment that says, Phil, this is how they do it. I understand.
Yeah, I mean, we know. We know how, we know why.
Yeah. Why do people think that's even effective? I'm confused.
I don't know. It must be working for them on some level, but my research, I did a buyer survey and 4% of them pick up the phone. 4%. Yeah. And nobody returns voicemail messages from a stranger. It's so rare. And so, there is a better way. There are lots of better ways. So, this traditional method stuff is going extinct.
Yeah, it's bad. It's going away. So let's talk a little bit more about what we can do, because we just kind of talked about the bad things to do. So our website, right? We have to have a website. If we're in business, we have to have a website, and yet so many people do them wrong. And Shawna, we just redid your website. So what are some things that we did for you that maybe were unexpected that were helpful?
Ooh, okay. I want to spend some time talking about websites because they are so important, but I have to share with you this call I got yesterday from a man that I don't know. And his name is Steve. I'm calling from Nashville. If you've heard my name before, it probably came from, and he mentions this mutual friend, but he says, I have been working, sorry, scroll down. I went to your website, and Shawna, listen, I've been in the marketing world for 25 years, and about 15 years ago, he also became a speaker, but he was blown away. I was blown away by your website. Photography is fabulous. The colors are great. There's lots of air. And he said, and I don't think I've ever made a call like this just to compliment someone on their website.
Whoa.
But he was blown away. And kudos to you and your team. You guys are the one that did that for me. And I've gotten such rave reviews. Now, I'm a techie. I'm a little bit of a nerd too. I do graphic design. I did all that, but I did my own website before. And it was really hard. Heather Lutzy said to me, it's really hard to see the label from inside the wine bottle, meaning I couldn't see myself accurately. And so what I was doing was painting this picture of me that was so inauthentic and trying to be like other speakers who were in sales or marketing. And it was not me. And so a shout out to Michelle Villalobos and Jerry O'Brien, who did NSA, National Speakers Association Brand Lab last spring. They revealed to me how inauthentic my branding was. And so then I discovered that you and your team do websites, which I didn't know. You talk about websites, and I want to pick your brain on some of that today. But yeah, I was so grateful to find you guys because you asked me the right questions. I was ready to reveal my true brand, and it just came together so honestly, so authentically, and it has made a huge difference. And so now with the Frankly Speaking book, the four of us are doing, we're on week 8 of this 12-week coaching program. We've got 26 speakers going through this, and I would say 20 of them are struggling with their website. And it's really hard to, especially if you get a designer that doesn't ask the right questions. And so can you just revisit when you and I first, we've known each other for years, but we had that first consultation call about my website. Do you remember some of the things you asked me that triggered, this great design?
Sure. Well, I mean, so the first one is always, who else is out there that you respect?
Yeah.
Because that helps us kind of frame up just the general look and feel, right? So if you like black or you like white, if you like pink, if you like purple, stuff like that, and then secondly, what assets do you have that we can use? Because often, sometimes we get folks that need an awesome website, and it's not because we can't build an awesome website. It's because we don't have any photography. It's because we don't have a video that lines up with who people are. So if you're looking to build a website, the first thing I would tell you is go find a photographer you trust and go get way more pictures than you think you need. Because
that was huge for me.
Yeah.
I've never done the whole professional hair, makeup, a photographer that wasn't JCPenney, honest, and like a real photographer, getting a great venue. And so the photos on my website it wasn't that long ago, and I've gotten more compliments, and it just kind of raised the bar, which allows me to charge more. There's a lot of good things with that, but I remember you asking me who I respected or whose websites I liked, and I remember saying Jess Pettit, goodenoughnow.com, because she is so whimsical and she talks like a normal person. And I don't know that I've even told her this, but it really inspired me. It gave me permission, I guess, to, fly my freaky unicorn flag and, and talk like I actually talk, which is not for everybody. And it's a turnoff to some people. Oh, she's not professional enough. I'm not going to be a good fit for their audience anyway. And so I had to accept that. And the result has been fantastic because more people are like, oh my gosh, I want to know you. You're perfect for our audience. And I think the benefit has outweighed the loss.
Yeah, it was that, and that. Well, that's the other thing is we have to get content first before we can build you a website. So we got to think about, what do you want to sound like? Are these the right words for you?
Mm-hmm.
What helps you stand out? I mean, part of the thing, it's who do you serve? What do you do for them? Right. And what are the outcomes? Of course, but think about that from a unique perspective as well. And sometimes, I struggle with this for my own stuff, right? Because as a sales trainer and a sales speaker, often I get okay, well, I want to help them build more leads and I want to help them, have more qualified conversations. And I want them
The
to
usual.
close more business, the usual stuff. But really, what I really want and what I really need to do is help people kind of burst their brand forth, and however that is. And I call that, what's your weird, right?
Me
That's what
too.
we're gonna find out. Yeah, you got to find that, right? What's your
I
weird?
have a slide that says that. Yes, I love that. What's your weird, and how do you put that forth in a way that's going to resonate with your target client? So I just picture myself sitting down with like the best client I could possibly have and just having a conversation. How would I talk to them? And that's how I wrote. And then I also shout out to Lisa Demi, who's also in your chapter. Once I had that, I sat down with her because can't see the label from inside the wine bottle. And I was like, does this sound like me? And she's like, this isn't really you. This is, and she helped me really hone it. And so my website is written really conversationally and really, I think it's fun and irreverent. And it speaks to certain people, and those are the people who are my ideal clients.
Yeah, that's one of the other questions, right? Is who have you worked with before that loves you?
Yes.
Right. And why do they love you? I mean, that's another question that we have to figure out, is because not everybody does.
Right.
It's not to say, just to throw this out there, it is not because you haven't done good work.
It's hard to hear. It's hard for speakers to hear and anybody. You're right.
Yeah. But not everybody loves you.
Yeah.
That's just the way it
Shocking,
is.
but true.
Well, right. But when we say that out loud, it's, it makes a lot more sense, because a lot of times we kind of hide that, right? We say, I don't, yeah, okay, I get that. But that's not really true. No, I'm telling you right now, it is true. It is true.
Yep.
There are groups that don't like me just for my orange glasses.
Right. Or my pink hair.
Or your pink hair. Yep. Or whatever, right? And we have to be okay with that. Now, that's not to say that we have to go completely over the top and do things that are gratuitous, that are not in line with our brand, because that's worse, right? That's actually worse. To fake it and to be, outrageous is also not what we're talking about.
Or to fake it and be too uber professional, unless that's the demographic that and that's really who you are and is really your demographic, then, go for it. But and it helps if you're a speaker to think about what's the compliment that you get most often. And for me, that's not everybody. A lot of people tell me, you sound like you're a friend. You're just talking to me like a friend. And so I love that. And that's how I am on stage. And I wasn't reflecting that in my old website. I was selling them a bill of goods, and then I'd show up on stage and be somebody totally different. And so now it's more congruent. Who I am on stage is how I talk about myself on my website. I'm just talking to them like a friend. That's my brand. That's not everybody's brand. But I think even if you are uber professional and your clients are, there's still a little bit of room to let your weird through.
Yeah.
That's what makes it memorable.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing, right? Differentiation is important.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, being a middle-aged white guy, my big differentiation right now for a lot of people is my glasses. That stands out.
It's memorable.
It's memorable, right? It's to use Jay Baer and Daniel Lemon's terms, it's a talk trigger. Right. And that's the thing. People, that guy with the orange glasses. Okay, cool. So now you got that. And then you come back and on your website, you have to make sure that you can prove that you're not just a freak with orange glasses.
Yeah.
That you have value, that, who says you're awesome. That's the other thing, right? So as we think about that, there's kind of 7 deadly sins that speakers bump into here. But one of them is you don't have anybody who says you're great, because the difference between me saying I'm great and someone that's hired me saying I'm great is massive. It's a chasm, right? I mean, you can't even see how far my arms are apart.
I can't.
That's how far apart they are.
Yeah.
Because it's not even close. And one of the best people that does this is Alan Berg. Alan is the master. He's a wedding speaker. He speaks to the weddings and DJ industry. Great guy. And I'm working on these myself, is taking this out and taking some of the good testimonials and moving them around, because frankly, nobody goes to a testimonial page on your website, like nobody. But they do look for them at the moment of truth.
Yeah.
When they're about to buy, when they're thinking, oh, I wonder if this person is a good fit for my audience. So I'm working on that on my website too, because it's so important. It's not just good stuff that Phil says about himself. It's good stuff that clients say.
But one other thing to piggyback on that I am going to do for the next changes I'm going to make to my website is I want every page to have a video of me just talking to the visitor. And so, because video now is more important than just words on a page, we're becoming less readers and more viewers. And just me talking, and not a big green screen and real, high production value expensive, but just me talking to them as a real person, so that I make a human connection rather than a transactional connection, because that's forgettable. And everybody wants to be more memorable, so that when they are comparing me to 9 other speakers, like, oh yeah, they remember what I said, the conversation, my tone, and so that's my next thing, is just talking like I talk, and getting other people to talk about you in a video is also extremely important, because buyers don't trust what salespeople say about themselves or their products, because they have skin in the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be talking about how great I am. I'm going to be, thanks for stopping by. Here's just a little bit about what I talk about on stage, or here's, I'm going to talk about that, but not about how great I am. I'll leave that to other people.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's important. I would tell you right now, make sure that you also transcribe that and you put the text on the page for search engine optimization. That's important.
Good point.
So, yeah. So, and if you really want to take it up a notch, use rev.com and caption it so that people can read the video and not just watch.
I've never thought of that.
Yep. So because
I use rev.com a lot, but I've never put that into my actual videos. Duh.
Yeah,
great tip.
Yep. So they'll caption it for you, and that way it'll be right across. I want to say it's an SRT file, but it'll show you on rev.com what it is, Shawna. And
fabulous. And that's rev.com for those of you watching at home.
Yeah, rev, vroom, vroom. Yep. It's a
They'll
buck a minute.
Transcribe anything for $1 a minute, and it's super accurate. I love them. Use them all the time.
Yep.
So can you give some pointers? Think about a website that's kind of sucky. What can people do to next level their website? Talk about some of your 7 deadly sins. Now, one of the things that really drove home to me is you have to have your phone number and email at the top of every page, and lose the contact form. Nobody wants to fill out if you want to buy something on Amazon, do you want to fill out a contact form to Amazon and say, hey, I'm interested in these shoes, and wait for them to get back to you and say, okay, we'll sell you the shoes? So that was huge to me. I lost my contact form, got rid of it, phone number and email at the top of every page. What are some other things that they can do? Like, how do you build a killer homepage? What components would you recommend?
Sure. Yeah. So, well, your point about killing the contact form, my answer to that is, I don't know that I would kill the contact form, but I would add all the elements that you have, right? Because I believe people choose whatever they want. Mm-hmm. So some people actually are very anal and want to make sure that they submit each field correctly. So I serve them as well. And if I had a fax machine, or a time machine, maybe to take me back to 1987, I would have that number on the page. Or if I thought, truly, if I worked in financial services still, I would absolutely have a fax number, because that's their industry. That's how they work.
Oh my gosh.
Just saying. So
feel for you people.
I know. So, but do put it at the top. So do put, phone number and email address. Don't hide it, and have a real number. Not, my number is 877 call Phil. Because that's not clickable on the mobile phone. Now, here's the thing. you need to test this on the mobile because about 75% of people now are mobile first or mobile only.
Yes.
Which is a big deal. Okay. So mobile only. So that's the first thing. Contact data, don't hide it. Really, really big one.
And what do you mean test it on your mobile? Test what?
So go to your website on your mobile and make sure that you can click your phone number.
Awesome.
On the mobile. So it'll actually, the good news is it used to be that it would just go right to a phone and you'd be like, oh crap, I didn't mean to call. No, just test it and it'll say, did you mean to call this phone number?
Yeah.
And then you can hit cancel because the answer is no, I didn't mean to call
yourself. Sure, whatever.
So just know that. So that's first tip. Second tip, make sure that you have good headings on each page. Every page. Your home page is not home. It's Shawna Suckow, the Buyer's Insider. Here's some good stuff about this, right? Some more information because most people have 40, 50, 70 tabs open. And if it says home, like, what is that? And so I still, we still see some of those, and then subpages, interior pages. It's not the about page. Yes, it's about Shawna Suckow, and here's her stuff, right? So we need to do that. Even though the URL might be shawnasuckow.com/about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Change what they see in the tab.
Right.
So they can easily see it with their 72 tabs open.
Right. Yep. And remember, along that line, you want a favicon so that you get a little graphic that shows up there as well.
Yes, your URL up in the bar.
Yep. Up in the top.
And then what should be above the fold?
So above the fold should absolutely be a headline about what you do, who you serve, how you serve them, and then a big picture and potentially a big video.
Yes.
Above the fold. So if you're a speaker, my gosh, you got to have that video up there.
Don't make it this big with a bunch of text next to it. I mean, make it, this is your selling point right here. Make it big.
Yeah. This is your money, right? So you got to have that there. Big video, big headline. Who do you serve? How do you serve? What do you do? What are some outcomes below that? Then it's some social proof. Now, here's the thing with logos. You have to ask for everyone but the press to use their logos. And the press, you don't have to because they actually want to increase readership. And yes, you should follow their brand guidelines, of course, but seldom does the press squawk about, a Wall Street Journal logo if you're in the Wall Street, right? But if you go talk to some companies, many companies do not ever want you to use their logo. So to get around that, and by get around that, I mean do this ethically, put it in your contract that says, I have permission by speaking to your group to use your logo for my marketing. I will follow your brand guidelines and I will do it that way, which also means that many brands do not have a black and white version of their logo. So if you're going to go black and white and that's not in their brand guideline, you can't go black and white just because your designer can do that, or you go to Fiverr.com and people do that, because you're going to get hit. I'm going to tell you, I worked for a company where they have a search all across the internet. Anybody that says the company name, they know. Anybody that uses the brand guideline, the logo, they know. You can know. Okay, so do not do this, because if they send you a cease and desist, I promise you, they're also not going to send you any business. Okay, so you got to know that. Along that, right? That's if you can. It's who says you're any good. That's some testimonials that you have sprinkled in there. A little bit of that, and then
best in video format.
Yep, best in video format. And and also written. Yep. Again, put kind of some moments of truth on the homepage. Yeah,
not a 3-sentence quote. Just pick out highlights and make it bigger so that people go, oh.
Yep. Even because you can always have the longer one later.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? You can always link back to that. Most people don't care. They're not going to watch it, but if it makes you feel better, you totally can do that. Make sure that everything is contained on your website. So don't bounce them out anywhere. And don't have things open in a new tab unless they truly are to different websites.
Like Facebook or all your social stuff.
Yep.
Along tip about that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I am convinced that social media is a time suck. That most people, when they go, they get distracted. They don't go with purpose, which means if above your fold, you have your social media icons and people want to go to them. they click on Facebook. I'm going to tell you right now, just for funsies, I'm going to look at my Facebook. I have 2 notifications, just 2. That's good. Most people have 30 or 40. They go to Facebook and they want to clear those notifications out. And then suddenly they're looking around and they're like, why did I come here? And then they get busy. Their time is up, right? They had 12 minutes to pick a speaker, 12 minutes to pick a supplier, and we're done because I just wasted my 12 minutes scrolling through my Facebook notifications of my mom playing Farm Bill.
Hi, Phil's mom.
Yep. So we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to do that. So instead, you can certainly social media proof way at the bottom. Absolutely. But I did not say, let me be clear, did not say do not be on social media. I said do not distract people and bounce them off of that. Your blog also exists on your homepage. Your videos should be embedded so they look like a video, not linked off to YouTube.
Not a link to YouTube.
I hate that. And people do too. Again, look at your website on your mobile. So important. You know, last stat I got 67%. I'm going to tell you anecdotally, by the end of the year, I'm going to guess it's probably 80% of people are mobile first, mobile mostly, and mobile only. I can't tell you when, except for doing these live videos, when I ever use Facebook from my desktop. I just can't. I can tell you that I don't do research. I'll sit on the couch and I'll be looking at my phone. I'm not going to my desktop. My desktop is more of a production, not a consumption device. And most people are that way. So some next level stuff though is the testimonials sprinkled out. That's a big one. That's a big miss. That a big opportunity for people that they could do, lining it up with all of your sites. So to your point, Shawna, make sure that all your social media sites look like they could fit into your website.
Oh, yep.
So similar headers, similar naming convention, right? You have the similar URL if you can, just so people can find that, because for whatever reason, as you're more aligned, the search engines weight them more.
And I'm guilty of that. Like my Twitter handle is The Buyer Insider, but my LinkedIn is Shawna Suckow. My Facebook is Shawna Suckow. So I need to fix that too. It's destroying that. I need to just be my name everywhere and not get cutesy.
Yeah. Well, and I think, it's really easy to think that cutesy is the right answer. It is. But
it's not findable as much.
That's it. Well, people are looking for you, right?
Yeah.
Unless you can be at sales on Twitter, you're probably not going to be found. I mean, and I think less and less do we actually type in things, more and more do we search for them. Right.
Because we don't remember that stuff. It's like, I don't even remember my kid's phone number because I have them stored in my phone. We don't remember that stuff anymore. So we search for it instead of remembering it. You're absolutely.
Yeah. And I would say answer questions on your website. Don't just provide information. Think in terms of questions. Right? Yeah. That's your blog post, that even your about page, right? Think about the questions and use subheads and big heads. So H1 is the big headline. So if you think about a newspaper, it's the Green Bay Press Gazette, the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, the Tampa Bay Times, the New York Times. That's the masthead. That's your name. Okay, that totally makes sense, right? And then subheads, though, think about each section being a subhead, each section being a page that you could go to, and then what are those about? So you got the lifestyle, the business section, and then you got little pieces inside of there. And that's really how you have to organize your website. And more content anymore, just for more sake, is not the right answer. It's more targeted content. I mentioned at SpinCon, I deleted 1,500 blog posts, Shawna.
That hurts my heart, Phil.
Yeah, but they're not all relevant.
True,
right?
They're not anymore.
So, so that article that I wrote, 11 years ago about customer service, I don't talk about customer service anymore. That's not super relevant. I do
fax machines.
Yeah, or fax machines, right? How do we market a fax machine anymore? You don't. Okay, so next question, right? But so think about that. What are the questions that your folks need to do? My friend Joel Block says, frequently asked questions, and frequently I wish you'd ask these questions.
Ooh.
So get inside your buyer's mind, get think like you do, Shawna, and really think like, what are my buyers really looking for?
What problems are you solving?
Yep, exactly.
That's how I like to think, not features and benefits so much, but what problems of theirs, what keeps them up at night, and how are you solving that?
Yep.
What are their challenges and opportunities?
Yeah. And that's where, again, make it easy to contact you, because if they see that you gave them great value in a blog post, in a video, on your about page, whatever, they're going to want to talk to you more. Now, does that mean they're always going to buy you? No, it does not. But it does mean they do want to talk to you. And if you don't make it easy, if it's more than one click away, they're gone.
Yeah.
So make it easy.
Oh, I'm remembering a great quote. I wish I knew. It's an NSA member in the UK, and I wish I could attribute this to him. But he said, "I'd rather someone refer me 5 times than buy from me once." And so not everybody is your buyer, but man, they know people who are. And if you develop that relationship of care and trust and likability, you'll get referred to people that they know, like, trust, and care about. And so, this back to the business of just disposable customers and transactional stuff. That's another reason why, you don't want to go that way, and more is not more.
Yeah. Yeah. Who said that is Jeff Rahm at NSA convention this year.
Oh, fabulous.
Yep. So
I saw it in Speaker Magazine.
Yeah.
Is he from the UK?
Yes.
Yep. Yes, that is him. I reached out to him and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah, he's really smart. I'm a big fan of Jeff. Really smart guy.
I wish I would have met him at convention. That's a bummer.
I accidentally met him in the elevator.
That's how it happens a lot of the time.
It does. So, yep. So I accidentally met him in the, there. So it's always interesting how those things happen. So Shawna, we got about 5 more minutes here. So talk to me about, kind of next level buyer stuff. What's going on in the buyers' heads that you maybe haven't covered, or reiterate what's really important now to do it?
One of the things that just popped into my head is also from the buyer study that I did, the top 3 things that a buyer looks for in a salesperson, and the first 2 have not changed. They want you to be reliable and responsive. Duh. They want you to be trustworthy. Duh. Those haven't changed in hundreds of years, right? The third one is they want you to be authentic and non-salesy, which is exactly what we're talking about here. And so what's interesting about that to me is sales for, 95 years, let's say, has been, I come at you as my company, and then I move into sales mode. And then only after we've known each other for a while do I personalize my conversations with you and let you into my life. Now the whole thing is reversed because buyers want you to be authentic from the get-go. They want to know who you are. And so for the last 5 years now, they want you to be a real, likable, authentic human being first before you move into sales mode, which is why this pitch stuff, like I was talking about on LinkedIn, I don't even like them yet. And they're already pitching me. What? That's an easy, delete, swipe, or disconnect. And so I like to throw salespeople off if they connect with me on LinkedIn and they pitch at me by responding back like as a real human being and be like, thanks, tell me more about Providence, or what. I just did that today. I love Providence, and just to have a human conversation, it really catches them off guard, but being your real true self and showing your flaws, your passions, sharing stuff that you do on the weekend is so valuable in being memorable and establishing a relationship of quality, not quantity. So that right there is what popped into my mind when you said that, is just a huge new trend.
I love that. Being more human is never going to go out of style.
No. And again, not everybody's going to like you, and you have to let go of that.
Yeah.
Everybody is not your customer, and you can't be all things to all people. That's not authentic anymore, and they'll smell it.
Yeah, absolutely. Not everybody likes a cup of hot tea, but for those who do, be the best damn cup of hot tea you can be.
Yes. What's the thing? I may not be your cup of tea. I may be your shot of whiskey.
There you go.
You know, be your weird self. At least let some of that shine through on your LinkedIn profile, in the stuff that you post, on your website, you know, wherever people find you so that they can see the real you and like you immediately if they're going to like you.
Absolutely.
Give them that chance.
Yeah, definitely. Give them a chance to like the real you as soon as you can.
Yeah.
In a non-judgmental way so they can get to the care factor faster.
And just closing with that, everybody, you know, likes to pick on millennials if they're not one, but I will say the millennial generation and Generation Z after that, which just entered the workforce, by the way, those generations are the best at being authentic right from the get-go until somebody older beats it out of them and says, you need to be more professional. No, we need to be more like them in how we connect and relate and talk to people. So kudos to those generations.
Yeah, connect like a millennial.
Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Shawna, if folks want to connect more with you, where do you like to hang out?
They can send me a friend request on Facebook. They can connect with me on LinkedIn, but don't leave me hanging when I accept that connection. They can go to my website, shawnasuckow.com. They can email me, shawna@shawnasuckow.com. They can tweet at me, but I think I'm getting rid of Twitter, Phil, because I can't keep up and connect meaningfully. So yeah, like I said, more is not more. I need to take my own advice and just get rid of the channels that I really can't be present on.
Awesome.
Don't tweet at me.
Don't tweet at Shawna. So that's good. So cool. Well, this is really fun, Shawna. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to share with me.
That real quickly, Phil, how can people that I invited to this conversation reach you and connect with you?
Well, I do play on Twitter. I'm Phil Gerb on Twitter, PhilGerb. But the easiest way is just pick whatever your favorite social network is, folks. If you can spell Gerbishak, it's Gerbyshack. You can find me. I'm probably the only Gerbishak out there. I do have two brothers, but if you spell it correctly, you'll find me, and I'd be open to connecting wherever you are.
Fabulous.
So
thanks for having me, Phil.
Thank you, Shawna. Good times.